Hi there and welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Rosa Coelho, health coach, trainer, and teacher. I'm also founder of the Simply Strong programs and community. Here, we cut through the noise to simplify health, personal growth, and lifestyle, helping you to thrive with ease, confidence, and vitality. Listen in because you never know when you may hear something that changes everything. Hello, beautiful friend. I hope you're having a fabulous week. Okay, today we're going to be talking about are you just going through that blah time where nothing seems to be very interesting when it comes to your health and fitness goals? You're just going through the motions and you feel like maybe you're on the verge of possibly slacking a little bit, or maybe you're just going, you're doing okay, but you just feel like you need a little bit more. Well, we're going to get into that. I'm going to talk about why it happens and what we can do about it just to get a little bit of pizzazz back, because sometimes we just need a little fun too. Okay, but before I get into that, I want to talk about Simply Strong just really briefly. I am so thrilled. Another group is coming up April 21st, depending when you're listening to this. So if you're listening to this, April 21st, 2025 is the next group. And you need to be in by the 19th because we have a getting started call and you have a few days to just kind of get into things and learn the app and figure things out. And I'm there with you the whole time. So you actually get a few extra days when you get started. This last program was just absolutely phenomenal. I got just the sweetest messages from the ladies. I'm not great at sharing testimonials, only because here's the thing. I feel like when you're working with real people, they can be a little bit shy to share before and after photos. And I do have some because there have been some brave souls that have shared. But one of my lovely Simply Strongers in the last couple of weeks sent me a message, and it was just one of those messages you wake up to and you go, oh my gosh, this is exactly why I do this. And I'm so thrilled because it has nothing to do with me. It's, yes, I provide the information and the coaching, but really it's when you've made that decision and you do the steps, you do the work, and it works. And that's a big deal, especially when we're going through, our 40s and 50s, perimenopause onto menopause, and we feel like we can be so stuck and just so desperately wanting to feel like ourselves again. So anyways, this lovely lady had done a few programs before, and they actually left her quite fearful of trying anything new. And through some really great conversations, she was able to trust me in the program and the process. And I was so grateful. And I never take that lightly. But like I said, a couple of weeks ago, she messaged saying, oh my goodness, I woke up with just the happiest tears of joy. I just saw a number on the scale that I haven't seen in almost 2 decades. And I cannot believe that. And I'm feeling stronger and more energetic and just so good. This is so different to anything else. And I just thought oh gosh, that's exactly what I want. Because for me, weight loss isn't the only goal. Weight loss is definitely a symptom. And there's no shame in wanting to lose the weight. I totally get it. But it's also about that strength and also feeling like you've got the formula, feeling like you're empowered again, you know what to do. And so you can do it. And that way, if you're going on a vacation or you're going somewhere and, a couple pounds comes on here or there because this is life, you don't panic, you don't spiral. You're like, oh, I know exactly what to do to get back to feeling like myself. And that's what I absolutely love. So anyway, if you're interested, please have a look on either my website, rockofit.com, ROCOFIT, or you can go onto my Instagram at rockofit and find the links there as well. So yeah, have a look there and join us. April 21st, summer is coming too. It's always an exciting time and a little bit easier this time of year for sure, as opposed to really working your butt off through the winter. So I give credit to all of those who did Simply Strong in the winter, because winter is definitely a challenge when it comes to getting steps in and all the things that come with winter. Okay, let's get into the blah. Oh gosh, I've been in this blah zone many times. And I would say the thing that saves me for sure is just my habits, just knowing what to do. But even for me, sometimes you're going through the motions and you're like, okay, kind of done with the blah. And it happens for various reasons. It can be something like our hormonal shifts. We just have those periods where we're we're not feeling super great, especially when we're hitting that perimenopause, menopause phase. I was just saying to someone, oh my gosh, it's like being a teenager again. You never know when it's coming, what's going on. It's like wild. So sometimes we just are feeling a bit of blah because of that. Other times it's routine fatigue. And I know I get that a lot. Like if you have just been on it and it is just part of what you do, you can get into a bit of fatigue with it if there's just been nothing kind of exciting happening for a little while. Lack of progress is another one too. Like sometimes we just need to change things up. And so, yeah, maybe we're maintaining and we're in that maintenance mode. And maintenance mode is great because you can't always be losing weight and you can't always be putting muscle on. And sometimes it's just good to go through maintenance mode and enjoy where you're at. But like anything, we as humans, we always want to be learning and growing and shifting and changing. That's just kind of what makes life interesting. And so if you've been in maintenance mode for a while, then it might be time to change things up. The other thing is just neglecting like the why we do this. Like, why do we focus so much on our health and being strong and feeling our best? It's really so that we can enjoy the joys of life. Sometimes we forget to do that. Like, I know sometimes I'm like on the weekend, I love the gym. I have my gym routine on the weekend. I love it because it's just, I'm a little bit lazier on the weekend, wake up a little bit later, I have a little more energy. It's lovely. But sometimes I should be out on a hike or, summer's coming. So I'll be out on my paddleboard instead of the gym and making those choices that are kind of seasonal and also just bring you joy. And that reminds us like, why am I doing this? It's so that I can enjoy those wonderful activities. So, and then sometimes we just go through life, right? We've got emotional or mental overloads. And so the habits can carry us through, but they don't really spark anything interesting. So those are the different reasons it can happen. I definitely go through cycles of this throughout the year. If you look at a year and how long a year can be, I will go through this a few times where I'm like, oh gosh, like, okay, I'm feeling that blah zone. So what can you do? I've got a few suggestions and these are all related to like achieving our health and fitness goals and how do we jazz that up if we've been on this journey for a while? Because let's be honest, transformation takes more than 6 weeks or 12 weeks. It's like an ongoing thing, really. So I always suggest a few things. So one is if you're having a hard time with like your macros and you've been tracking for a while, you know that you're not ready to let go of tracking or giving it a break, because I know I don't track all year round. I will track for like 6 to 8 week periods, and then I'll give it a rest because I've gained such a good sense and insight into my food and what it represents. However, once I've been off of it for a while and I want to shift my goal, then I go back into tracking. And I love tracking. I don't find it difficult anymore, but sometimes when you're in that routine, you need a shift. So I always suggest like, if you've been on the weight loss journey for a while, take your macros and add another 100 to 150 calories. If you're actually stuck on your weight and you're like, oh, I am a bit stuck, I need to shift it, and you're above 1,500 calories, because I don't like to go lower than that. I mean, we're human beings that are working and moving. Like we need to be eating more than that. But if you're not at 1,500 and you can afford to take off 100 to 150 calories, then do that, because it shifts your numbers. And now when you're tracking, you're like, oh, this is a new number. Like it does something to your brain. Yes, it's good for your body too to shift it, but it just mentally will just like jazz things up. So if you have been like stuck for a while and you're already low calorie, add 150 calories. It's amazing what that can do for you in terms of your health and maybe getting your metabolism going. Add them back through protein and healthy fats, maybe not so much on the carbohydrates. Again, depends. Are you lifting heavy? Maybe you do need a little bit more of the carbohydrates. So it all depends on where your goal is. And when you're in Simply Strong or you've joined the Simply Strong Mastery, which is the monthly program, then I can help you to navigate those kind of decisions. That's kind of a later decision, but in terms of what carbohydrates you're going to allocate those calories to. But you might just need that little shift in numbers. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is interesting. interesting because it gamifies it. And we all love games. Like, I think that's something from childhood that doesn't go away, even if we kind of suppress it a little bit. So that's one thing you can try. The other thing is adding steps. Like recently, I have been walking between 15,000 and 20,000 steps, and it has been awesome. Like, that's a big jump. And all these suggestions that I'm making for you, I would suggest doing them for 2 weeks. You don't have to do this for a crazy time because then it's going to become, again, routine and the routine fatigue and whatever. But this will give you this like little boost. And then you can go back to what you were doing that was still getting you results or maintaining or whatever it is. But I say give yourself a 2 weeks. There's something powerful of having a start, stop, or else, again, it doesn't gamify it. It doesn't make it exciting. So you need to give yourself that time. So depending on how big your goal is or what a drastic change, like 15 to 20,000 steps is a lot to increase every day. So I just did that for a 2-week period. If you're going to increase by 3,000, it's not such a huge increase. Maybe you want to do that over a 30-day period. I don't recommend more than a 30-day period. There's a reason why challenges tend to be 2 weeks to 30 days because they're exciting and there's nothing wrong with that. So if you're like ready for that excitement, then that's a good thing to do. So another one is steps. Another one could be challenging yourself. Like if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, it's way lighter now, which is so lovely. Maybe your challenge is to get up half an hour earlier and go for a 30-minute walk, not for the steps, although those will count for sure, but for that sunlight. Maybe you have a goal, like seeing what will early morning sunlight do for your body. Now, I think that's super interesting and exciting. And if you haven't done it before, so worth it to see how that impacts your circadian rhythm, your energy, your hormones, everything. So do that for 2 weeks and see how you're feeling. And I highly recommend tracking it on a calendar. I love just like a old school physical calendar. Put a little smiley face when you've done it. Give yourself a goal if you're aiming for 2 weeks. Maybe you allow yourself like one kind of misstep. I always say, because it's not about perfection, it's about progress. But when you're doing challenges, usually you're pretty owned in. So, but life does happen. So those are like my biggest challenges are those. Like if it's with the macros, then you're going to increase or decrease by 100 or 150 calories. It's not a ton, but it will make a difference and gamify it. If you're doing steps, you're going to add maybe 5,000 steps for the next 2 weeks, or you're going to challenge yourself to that morning sunlight. And those, you might have another one that you have been wanting to do for a while. So maybe you can do that. I recommend it being something that you're going to do every single day, as opposed to, okay, this week I'm going to get 3 workouts in as opposed to 2. Challenges are usually like a smaller actionable step that can be done every single day. And that's kind of the fun of it. So if you're like, oh my gosh, actually, this is a great idea, I want to do this, message me on Instagram or tag me and let me know, what did you choose? Did you choose one of those 3 things, the calories, the steps, or the morning sunlight? Or do you have another one that you're going to do? I always love hearing from you, but yeah. So if you're in that rut and you're just like, or you're like, oh, I could feel spring coming, but I'm still not feeling that like excitement to start going for it. Well, here's your chance. I highly recommend that. And if you know what, if you're just getting started and you are a woman 40 plus and you're just like, oh, Rosa, like I just want myself back, please don't buy into that it's perimenopause and all the things. Yes, perimenopause changes things for sure. However, it does not mean that you cannot get results. I was there too. I was literally 20 pounds heavier, and on my frame that made a difference. And once I got to work and figured out what it is that women in perimenopause and menopause need to do and need to shift, like the way we used to do things to the way things are more effective for our bodies now, it's just like incredible, and it's simple. There's a reason the program is called Simply Strong. Okay, if you're joining the next round, I cannot wait to meet you there. And if not, thank you so much for listening. Be sure to share the podcast. I love it, especially if you can tag me on social media. That really helps to get it out, and it means a lot. I love hearing that you are listening in. Thank you so much for listening in today. I know time is precious, and I'm grateful you shared yours with me. It would mean the world to me if you felt an impact, a moment of inspiration, or learned something new, if you would share it with those you care about and leave me a review on iTunes. I'd love to know what spoke to you or what you'd like to hear more of. Your sharing and leaving a review would help so much on this journey to making an impact on as many people as possible. It's worth it. I know from experience, there are moments when something we hear has the possibility of changing everything.